Support for this episode is brought to you by Mrs. Meyer's. A delightfully clean home can make for a delightful start to the day. At Mrs. Meyer's, everything we make is inspired by the garden. With plant-derived ingredients, our cleaning products work like the dickens, leaving your home sparkly clean and your to-do list tackled in no time. So bring a little bit of the outside inside your four walls and bask in the wonder of a garden from the comfort of home. Mrs. Meyer's, rooted in goodness. Shop now at mrsmeyers.com.
The Cricket Badger Podcast IPL Daily, in association with Moonrise Cricket, Indian Premier League 2020 13th edition. Every day, every game, every spill, every thrill, every triumph, all the way to the IPL trophy.
Hello everybody, welcome along. It's another edition of the Cricket Badger IPL Daily, and wow, this competition just keeps on giving. Just watched an incredible game between the Kings 11 Punjab and Sunrisers Hyderabad off the back of a slightly more one-sided affair, KKR against Delhi Capitals this morning. Thank you to Bodyline TShirts.com and to Moonrise Cricket for their support of this IPL Daily. But gentlemen, let's get into this. We're going to talk about today's matches, we're going to preview tomorrow's games, and then we're going to look through the remaining fixtures, and we're going to divide the points up and see who we think is going to be in that final four, because there's some very intriguing encounters coming up over the next few days. Let's start with this morning's game in Abu Dhabi. KKR 194 for 6. Delhi Capitals never really in that game. 135 for 9 they made. KKR, I think, have been asleep for the last week or so and suddenly woke up today, Anand. They were a far different beast today.
They sure were, and I thought there were some interesting tactics also by Delhi Capitals. I wonder whether they missed a beat here, because it looks like they'd never targeted Narayan with some short pitch bowling. You know that Narayan likes everything pitched up in his range. If anything is short, it's a very unconvincing look that he usually gives. So sort of interested to see why they didn't go short pitch to him, but certainly KKR woke up, right? And I mean, that was some great batting. Rana did great. Narayan provided a lot of the fireworks, and then you had Morgan doing the same in the end. So, overall great effort. It's just interesting some of the tactics that Delhi Capitals did.
Yeah, Nitish Rana 81. He was opening today, 81 off 53 balls from him, 64 for Sunil Narayan on his return to the KKR shirt. And in reply to that, Delhi Capitals never really got into the groove. Sheris Iyer, the top scorer with 47, but plenty of single-digit scores as we go down the Delhi Capitals scorecard. 3 for 17 for Pat Cummins, coming back into form, and 5 for Varun Chakravarti. Incredible performance from him on a non-spinning track, really. 5 for 20 from his 4 overs. And Naman, it was a really good bowling performance, wasn't it, from KKR? They must have been quite nervous going into this one, but it didn't look like it.
The first time in the whole tournament, they really played some exceptional cricket. All of these players, now the best is coming out of them, because they know that there is no room for error, especially with the new ball. It was important for Cummins to speak out loudly over there. He was silent for whole tournament. But yes, striking early wickets with Rahane and Dhawan dug a big hole into that batting lineup. And yes, Varun Chakravarti has been exceptional in the whole tournament. They playing him ahead of Kuldeep Yadav speaks volumes. Absolutely, overall, it was a complete performance, and good to see Rana performing today. One of the top 3 batsmen had to do it today, and yes, it was some exceptional batting by Rana as well.
Bodyline TShirts.com. Browse the finest collection of cricketing t-shirts on the web. Hundreds of original cricket designs for cricket players and fans alike, featuring everyone and everything from Larwood to Leach and Cow Corner to Chin Music at BodylineTshirts.com. And you can get 10% off your first order using the code BADGER at checkout. BodylineTshirts.com. T-shirts for the discerning cricket fan. KKR took the first points of the day, and then we moved on to the second match, which was quite astonishing, to be honest, in Dubai. Kings 11 Punjab made 126 for 7. Sunrisers all out in the final over for 114, but that only tells half the tale, Daniel, because basically both innings, in the power plays, the teams got off to a storming start, and then all of a sudden the pitch seemed to stop on them, the ball got softer, and it looked almost impossible to score runs. It was an incredible game.
Yeah, great game. I think Sunrisers sort of missed the trick trying not to finish it when they had the chance with wickets in hand. I think they left it a little bit late, which is, I mean, obviously the pitches have played a big factor in the fact that scoring has slowed down. But I think it's just they need to learn from previous lessons, really. We've seen a lot of games this IPL where you think a team is over the line, then all of a sudden the other side comes roaring back. And I just think sometimes they need to sort of bite the bullet and have a go to get it over the line a little bit earlier. I think you can see it coming, kind of. I mean, they didn't really help themselves. They completely capitulated. And what was Khalil Ahmed doing at the end there with the block?
He's not watched any of the IPL, has he? Because I don't think he realises it wasn't a test match, because he came out, played a 4 defensive and then strolled down the other end and got himself run out. I think it was probably done and dusted by then, but very peculiar ending to that game. It all started, Anand, with when Vijay Shankar, who was going quite nicely, survived a run-out attempt. Nicholas Pooran, totally accidentally, shied at the stumps and ended up hitting him on the head. He looked a bit dazed from that, got out soon afterwards, and the wheels had truly come off, hadn't they?
It certainly seems so, and I wonder whether that hit did cause a little bit of an impact, because the ball that he got out to was just a good length ball that he fenced at, which was interesting. So I wonder whether that had much of an impact. But also I think some of it does go to him and Pandey as well. I think he was doing okay and Pandey was doing okay. But in such a small chase in a T20, I think those singles matter. How does Manish Pandey get 15 runs of 29 balls? And I just sort of wonder, how do we get to that point? Because Pandey is a quick between the wickets, should be able to manipulate the ball around, and so should Vijay Shankar. So I think, as Dan mentioned, I think they missed a trick there. This could have been easily their game, and they should have finished this off. It seemed like they almost got stuck.
Absolutely. Naman, what was wrong with Mohammad Shami? He bowled 4 overs, looked absolutely fine, walked off the pitch. They brought on a substitute fielder who ended up taking a fantastic catch that Shami would have got nowhere near. It seemed a little bit dodgy to me, that.
Yes, I never noticed that Shami was out. It was only when you mentioned in the chat I saw that, so I won't be able to comment on that. Maybe it would be cause of dehydration due to hit, or maybe some niggle, or no idea.
Or Naman, they know that he's not a great fielder, and they know some of the young lads on the bench are.
Yes, but in quite a few matches we have seen in many matches that substitutes have been around and they have caught hold. You have seen Anukul Roy catching some brilliant all over the field from Mumbai Indians for many players. So hard to comment over here. Won't criticize anyone because I'm not fully aware.
I thought it looked decidedly dodgy myself, but I may be wrong, and Mohammad Shami maybe have something really wrong with him, but it just looked very convenient to me for Kings 11 in the field to have a young sprightly individual on after Shami had bowled his 4 overs. Moonrise is a sports engagement website to allow sports fans to learn from the very best. Get a personal video message recorded for a fan's special occasion. Have a professional cricketer as your next coach by getting video feedback or having a 30-minute conversation with some of the world's best players. Players such as Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro, Tammy Beaumont, Danny Wyatt, Monty Panesar. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket, let's play. Let's have a look at our Moonrise moment of the matches today then. Anand, we'll start with you, your nomination.
So for me, I think the Moonrise moment of the match was Varun Chakravarti's spell. So at that point, Cummins had already made some inroads to the Delhi Capitals top order. You see that Iyer and Pant were consolidating, and you sort of know how good that Delhi Capitals middle order is. So you got Iyer, Pant, Hetmeyer, Stoinis, and Akshar Patel, who also gets the ball off. So this is a fairly strong top order, or middle order, and it seemed like Varun Chakravarti had basically them on a string, because he first got Pant, then got Hetmeyer, then got Iyer, finally Stoinis and Patel. So 4 overs, 20 runs, 5 wickets. And this is somebody who's playing in his second season of the IPL. And he's known as a mystery spinner, but the last IPL, I think he played 1 match. So I think this was a great performance, and I think way for him to step up and take 5 wickets on this stage against a great team.
Totally agree with that. I thought he was outstanding today. I didn't quite like his send-off to Shreyas Iyer. Kind of bowed to him and kind of ushered him away, and that's not particularly cricket, unless they're great mates and there was an in-joke, but Shreyas Iyer's face didn't suggest that was the case. Naman Shah, what about you? Your Moonrise moment of the match today?
So I have 2 over here. One is a good one. I guess the catch by Suchit, the substitute which you just mentioned, changed the whole course of the match. I felt if Manish Pandey would have been there, the result would have been different from Hyderabad's perspective. The other one, I don't know if everyone is aware, Mandeep Singh, who opened today for Punjab, lost his father. I guess it takes a lot of courage to come and out and open, especially with Mayank Agrawal not in the game, the best player for him, scoring more than 400 runs. He was out with injury and losing a family member, especially his father, and coming out and opening for the team in do or die matches. It takes a huge courage, and I really feel for him.
Two great nominations from you, Naman. Daniel, what about you?
I'm going to go for the moment when Sunil Narayan strolled out ahead of Owen Morgan. I don't think anyone watching it would probably have agreed with that at the time. I know I didn't when I saw what was happening, but I think is that a masterstroke where Owen Morgan may well have sort of gained him an advantage in that game, whereas Dennis Karthik wouldn't have. I think very innovative thinking. I know it's sort of very much hit or miss with Narayan with the bat, but I think that innings from Sunil Narayan completely changed the momentum of that game, and I don't think they'd have won unless he came off today. So I'm going to go for Sunil Narayan coming in ahead of Owen Morgan.
My nomination is Nicholas Pooran's throw, which hit the batsman Shankar. I really liked it. After Shankar had taken treatment, I liked it when Pooran went across and shook his hand and they had a little bit of a smile together. And good sportsmanship, that. And I thought that was a lovely little moment. But I think today's Moonrise moment, I'm in agreement with you, Naman. Mandeep Singh coming out today after losing his father, a really poignant moment. He only made 17 from 14 balls, but was part of a Kings 11 victory that he'll remember forever for painful reasons, but also great reasons. And for that, he is the Moonrise moment of the matches today. Want to get your game the very best it can be? The future of coaching. Talk to a pro. 30-minute video conversation. Video analysis from players at the top of their game. Video shout-outs. Get a personalised message from a pro. Great for birthdays, congratulations messages, a prank, or a simple hello. Visit moonrisesports.com or go to Moonrise Sports on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Moonrise Cricket. Let's play. Right then, chaps, we're going to have to race through the rest of this show because we're going to go through the rest of the IPL. There's quite a bit left, but not as much as I'd like. I'd like this tournament to go on forever. First of all, let's have a look at tomorrow's games. And we start with RCB taking on Chennai Super Kings. Chennai Super Kings pretty much down and out in this tournament. RCB heading for the playoffs, looking for a top two berth. Naman, we'll start with you on this one. Where would you see this one going and how do you see this game?
Yeah, looking at CSK overall in the tournament, they have themselves to blame. Every time you just cannot blame the pitches, and you have to look at your technical problems and the playing 11 you are choosing coming into the matches and also the squad. And I always fail to understand that why do you choose 20 to 25 players when you are sticking only to 12 to 15 players to play from, and then blaming the techniques and keeping on blaming the pitches. I'll be harsh over there, but yeah, it's hard to understand. It should be a cakewalk for RCB with ABD and Virat Kohli, the form they are in, and especially with Morris coming in. They have been brilliant in all the departments. I only feel that they should not be complacent tomorrow. They should be looking to seal their spot first and then look for changes. You are seeing what Delhi is up to right now. They have been out of the momentum which they were in, so not to make too many changes. First seal the spot and later make the changes they need to make, but first seal the spot.
I said this yesterday, but I really don't like the way Dhoni's talking. I've got massive respect for him. He's a fantastic player, but he's almost blaming people that are the vulnerable people in his squad, the youngsters and stuff. And the upshot really for CSK is that the big stars in their team, including himself, haven't really shown up at this IPL. They need to be the ones shouldering the blame for their performance, not the youngsters in the side. Because generally speaking, the youngsters buzz off the older guys, don't they, in a team, and they respond to success. Whereas at the moment, the older guys in the CSK side are giving them nothing. And I think that's quite a poor attitude that Dhoni's showing at the moment. Daniel, RCB have been terrific in this tournament so far. Virat Kohli seems to be getting a lot out of them. For me, this is, unless CSK transform themselves overnight, this should be a walk in the park for RCB tomorrow, shouldn't it?
I think this is actually one of the easiest games of the IPL to predict so far. RCB win by a distance. I think Dhoni is very much... there's a lot of questions that need to be asked of Dhoni, like you said. I know he's kind of a sort of a sacred figure for Indian cricket, and rightly so, but there needs to come a time where people are starting to question sort of his worth to that side. I think the time came in the national side when he was sort of very quietly phased out without sort of being dropped officially for a while. And I think the attitude that he said, you know, like you were talking about, James, when he's blaming the younger guys, I don't think that's something that we've seen from Dhoni. And I think it comes across as almost he's in a little bit of denial that he's sort of not the superpower that he once was. But yeah, I think RCB by distance tomorrow.
So I'm going RCB, you're going RCB. Daniel, Naman, are you RCB as well?
Yes, James.
And Anand, your vote?
I'm going CSK for one last great effort from all the oldies. They're going to try to get it there one last time, and I think tomorrow's the game for it. I'm calling it. It's going to be CSK.
Well, you see, you can do that without any fear of failure because you're outvoted anyway, so it doesn't count. But we'll move on to the next game, which involves your side, Anand, Mumbai Indians, in the last game tomorrow. They are up against Rajasthan Royals, and Rajasthan Royals are a strange side to me, Anand. Mumbai Indians are brilliant. You know, they are beatable because they have been beaten in this competition, but they have few faults that are obvious. Rajasthan Royals have some serious talent in their side. They're capable of brilliance, and they're also capable of absolutely atrocious performances. It depends which RR turns up to play you, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. And the question that I have is, with Rajasthan Royals having all this talent, can they actually pull a Tewatia as a team? Because they won the first two matches, and then they've gone on a streak of losing matches. And I think they've lost, 3 of the last 4. So can they as a whole team, be the Rahul Tewatia and pull this off? So I think this is actually going to be a tricky match for a couple of reasons. One, I think that this is Rajasthan Royals' do or die match, right? If they lose this match, for all ostensible purposes, I think they're out of the playoffs picture. So yeah. I think this might be the one last straw that they need to look at and try to see whether they can pull this out. Secondly, Rohit Sharma, hammy, still an issue, so he may not be in the 11. So what does that do to the side? Obviously, we saw in the last match that it didn't do much, but what happens going forward is going to be interesting. So I think this is a tricky match, but I still think MI should be able to pull it out just because they're a very well-rounded side with a lot of people in form.
So Mumbai Indians for you, Mumbai Indians for me as well. Daniel?
I think Mumbai will be too strong. I'd like to see Rajasthan pull it out the bag. They excite me as a side. Obviously, with the English contingent, we've always sort of got a little bit of an interest there. But unless sort of Stokes or Buttler has a day out, I think, yeah, Mumbai. Well,
I don't need to ask you, Naman, because we've already decided Mumbai are going to be the victors in that one. Cricket's a game played with balls. You've got to look after them in the field. Badgers are furry creatures. And my friends at Manscaped.com help you make sure it's neat and tidy down there. Oh, get rid of all that excess fur. Make sure that you're neat and tidy. Make sure everything's in the right order. Oh, feeling all good now down in my set. Oh, Manscaped.com. Maximum skin-safe performance, compact design, advanced engineering, ceramic blade, waterproof. And it doesn't end there. Show you care by caring for your pair. Cleansers, revivers, preservers. Simply go to manscaped.com, quote the discount code BADGER. You get 20% off, you get free shipping, and you get some seriously quality equipment. Manscaped.com. Get on there now. So that is Sunday sorted out, but listeners, we have plenty of IPL left to talk about. If we tell you how the IPL is going to go, don't just turn off from this podcast because you know what's going to happen. Stay with us because we'll still have interesting chat as we go through it. But we're going to call the remaining games now, and all I want from you, gentlemen, is the name that you think, the name of the winning side as you see it. First game on Monday, Kolkata Knight Riders against Kings 11 Punjab. Now, this is right in the mix of the fight for fourth place. Naman.
I'll go with Punjab.
Daniel.
I'm going Kings 11 too.
Anand.
The lucky Kings 11 Punjab.
Right then, so that means that Kings 11 go up to 12 points, level with KKR then after that game. The next game, Sunrisers Hyderabad against Delhi Capitals. I'm going to go Delhi in that one. I think they'll bounce back from their disappointment. I don't think they've had 2 defeats on the bounce so far. I think Sunrisers will be rocked from their defeat today. Anand.
Delhi.
Daniel.
Delhi. Sunrisers have gone.
Right, so that's 2 more points for Delhi Capitals. That takes them to 16 from 12 games played. Sunrisers, after 12 games, will still be on 8. Mumbai Indians against RCB. Now, this is a corker, isn't it, on Wednesday? Naman, what about your thoughts on this one, the winning side?
Mumbai.
Daniel?
Ooh, RCB after 3 super overs.
Anand?
Battle of the best. I go Mumbai by just squeak by RCB.
You see, I was going to say RCB, and we said at the start of this, or before we pressed record, that I was going to have the deciding vote. So that is a win for RCB, I'm afraid, Anand. So they go to 18 points and take the lead in the table. CSK against KKR. We'll start with you on this one, Daniel.
KKR.
Anand?
KKR.
Naman?
KKR.
So I don't even need to say. I'd have gone KKR as well. So KKR go to 14 points. CSK still bottom on 6 points. Next game is Kings 11 Punjab against the Rajasthan Royals. Start with you, Anand.
I'll keep it the Kings 11 Punjab to win this one.
Daniel?
I will say Kings 11, but if Rajasthan win tomorrow, Rajasthan, but Kings 11.
Naman?
Kings 11.
Delhi Capitals against the Mumbai Indians, Naman.
Oh, just like Dan mentioned, after 3 super overs, it would be Delhi.
Dan?
I'm going to say Delhi. I think they're, just as an aside, I think they're hitting a bit of a rough patch at the worst time, and you want to be sort of on the upward curve now. And I seem to think that they may be levelling off and coming a little bit downwards, but I'm going to back my boys, Delhi.
I saw Shreyas Iyer say today that he was quite pleased that their rough patch was happening now, rather than when they hit the playoffs and they can get it out the way. And I can see that. I can see that school of thought. Anand, DC against MI.
Easy. MI in a rout or DC?
I'm
calling it.
I'm going to go Mumbai as well. So that means that Mumbai take the 2 points. That takes them to 18 at the top of the table. And it means that Delhi stay on 16 after 13 games. Next game, RCB against Sunrisers. Naman.
Yeah, easy to call there. It's RCB.
It's RCB, isn't it? I'm going to go RCB, so that effectively means that they're going to win that one. So 13 games for RCB. That will take them to 20 points. And Sunrisers will be down there on 8 still. CSK against the Kings 11, Anand.
I'll go with the Kings 11.
Daniel?
Yeah, Kings 11, 100%.
Naman?
Kings 11.
Right, so Kings 11, after 14 games, that's their final game, and they will finish on 16 points. Interesting. Kolkata Knight Riders taking on the Rajasthan Royals, Dan.
Rajasthan have got to win at some point, so we'll go for the Royals.
Anand?
Rajasthan's going to Tewatia this, and they're going to actually win one more game against KKR.
Naman?
KKR.
I was going to go Rajasthan. So that would take Rajasthan to 10 points, and it would keep KKR after their 14 points. They would be on 14, after 14 games, on 14 points. Not looking good, Naman. Not looking good at all. Delhi Capitals against the RCB. Anand?
So after that rout against MI, Delhi is going to come on fire, and they're going to beat RCB.
So Delhi Capitals to beat RCB. Daniel?
I'm going to go with Delhi again. This is like that part of Eurovision where the results are coming in and no one's got an idea what's going on.
Naman?
Yeah, Delhi.
Right, so Delhi take the points on that one. So it means that they finish on 18. RCB finish on 20. So one final game, the final game of the group stages, sees Sunrisers taking on the Mumbai Indians. Do we all agree that Mumbai Indians will beat Sunrisers Hyderabad?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right, okay. So,
I'll go with Sunrisers there.
Right, well, I was going to go Mumbai. So that means at the end of the group stages, according to our very ramshackled way of actually calculating the remaining fixtures, it means that the top 2 sides in the tournament will be Mumbai Indians and the Royal Challengers Bangalore in first and second. In third place in the table will be Delhi Capitals. And in fourth place, it will be Kings 11 Punjab. So we have the first qualifier, Mumbai Indians against RCB. Now it gets tough. We're going to find out who's going to win the IPL here. Naman?
Go with MI.
Dan?
I'm going to say Mumbai, just.
I reckon you're going to say Mumbai as well, Alan, aren't you?
After 2 super overs.
So Mumbai progress to the final. RCB lie in wait then for Delhi Capitals against Kings 11 Punjab. Anand, who wins that?
I think Delhi's got this.
Dan?
I'm going to have to go with Delhi.
Naman?
They are going unbeatable right now, so it will be a gale storm for me. Kings 11.
Kings 11. And I was going to go Kings 11 as well. And as I have the deciding vote, that means that Kings 11 go through to play RCB. RCB against Kings 11 Punjab. Naman?
Punjab.
Dan?
RCB.
Anand?
I think Superman AB de Villiers is going to do something big in the playoffs and they're going to win this. RCB.
That means the final of IPL 2020 will be played between the Mumbai Indians and RCB. And we're not going to call that because we'll wait until then to call that one. I'll tell you what that's shown me as we've calculated through and we've given everybody the points, etc. It's going to be flipping close as we go through the final stages of this. And it's not going to go quite to plan. And there will be some upsets. And there will be some tears and some very excited teams as we go through the rest of this competition. Our finalists, though, Mumbai Indians against RCB, we'll find out over the next couple of weeks how close we were to calling the remainder of this competition. But until then, Anand, Daniel, Naman, thank you for joining me on this pod.
Cheers, gents. That was a pleasure.
Cheers, James. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, guys.
And thank you to Bodyline TShirts.com and to Moonrise Cricket for their support of the IPL Daily. Thank you to you for listening. I've been James, as always, and as the IPL Daily name suggests, we'll be back again tomorrow to talk about Sunday's games and to look ahead to Monday's corking clash between KKR and KXIP. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks for listening. Join us every day throughout IPL 2020. Follow us on Twitter at cricket_badger. Join in the fun. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Get a credit card that gives you what you need now. A low interest rate on everyday purchases and a place to transfer high interest rate balances. The PenFed Gold contactless card is our lowest rate credit card. You can even earn a $100 statement credit when you spend $1,500 in the first 90 days. Join PenFed, and together we can help you keep more of what's yours. Visit PenFed.org/goldcard. To receive any advertised product, you must become a member of PenFed, insured by NCUA.